I'm Brendan Perring. I'm the General Manager of the Independent Print Industries Association. We are a trade association with 400 members across the UK. And one of the most important things that we do as a trade association that serves the commercial print, wide format print, graphics and visual arts markets is to try and promote our industry, to champion our industry, and most importantly, to try and get the knowledge, expertise and experience out of my fine panel today to bestow upon you and hopefully give you some inspiration, some different ideas and some different ways of doing things. So that's the IPIA. Romano, if I hand over to you.
My name is Romano. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm working for Mutoh Europe, print manufacturer for eco-solvent, UV and water-based products. Just trying to build up the UK again. That's my goal.
Thank you, Romano.
Hi, my name is Steve Jones. I am the Director for Display Sheets and Thermoplastics for Premier Display Graphics. We're part of the Premier Paper Group. I've got about 40 years, approaching 40 years experience in the sign, display and plastics arena. And if you want to know any more about the company, we're just there.
Great. Phil?
Morning, everybody. Good to see you. Phil McMullin, Head of Sales for Epson UK. I think we've probably got a century between us, Steve. I think if you add up, I think you're missing about 10 years on that, but anyway. We are over in the far corner there. We've got a range of ink types, ink applications, solvent, resin, UV, dye sublimation, DTG, and lots of different applications. So do please come and see, get inspired about what you can produce in print. So look forward to seeing you.
So the topic for today's discussion is called Flights of Opportunity. And the reason that we've called it that is because over the last 20 to 30 years in our industry, it has matured. Once we were the incumbents, especially in wide format printing graphics, fighting our way up, everything was new. Every year there was new technologies, massive leaps forward. If you were in sign making or wide format printing, the avenues for you to grow and diversify and the growth of the market meant that you could continue to do that if you ran a good business. Now, over the last sort of 5 years or so, those markets have matured. It is getting harder and more difficult potentially in a very saturated and mature market for the normal and traditional models for a sign maker or a print business to grow their business so easily. So we call this Flights of Opportunity because I certainly know from talking to our members on a regular basis that there are many, many areas of profitable diversification and change that you can affect in your business that will have a sizable effect. But it's all about education, and that's where these fine gentlemen come in. So maybe if I start from the end, Phil, could you give our guests here today a bit of insight and knowledge? You've been in the industry a long time. You had a big presence at Spandex before you moved over to Epson. Where have you seen the market transition and grow to today? And how do you find that analysis I gave you? Do you accept that it's becoming a more mature market?
Yeah, absolutely. The market is very mature, but I think the opportunities have got bigger if you investigate the range of applications that are actually on offer. So we've seen, I've seen in the last 11 years at Epson, we started as a business very much in the photographic and proofing side of things, and since then moved into signage, into labels, into dye sublimation, into t-shirt printing. And the message that we've been trying to get over to the print industry in general is that there's a huge array of branding opportunities out there in your customer base. And if you're just looking at doing the signage for your customer base and you're missing out on the corporate workwear side of things, then you're probably leaving money on the table. You're leaving an opportunity for somebody else to come in and offer that service to your best customer, and then potentially risk losing the core piece of business that you were offering. So digital has kind of blurred all the lines in the print industry. I think most businesses will see themselves as or should see themselves as branded consultants to their end customers, and just the ability to utilize all the digital engines to produce lots of different branding opportunities is definitely there. The barriers have been broken down. So I think the innovation is still going, certainly from an Epson point of view. The innovation during COVID didn't stop at all. We didn't have a big impact of COVID in Japan with the R&D centres, so they cracked on in the 3 or 4 years developing technologies. We're starting to see the fruits of that now. Over the next couple of years, we'll see that really pushing the envelope, raising the bar further in terms of what is available. So shows like this become really important. You think you know everything, but actually things are changing again rapidly. There was a bit of a hiatus, I think, before COVID, where you could go to a show 1 year, go the next year, and you didn't really see a lot of difference. But we're starting to see that innovation coming back in, certainly from an Epson point of view.
Yeah. Now, before I move to you, Steve, because I thought it might be logical to you, obviously all the materials and everything that go through this technology, and there's a huge amount of opportunity there.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to pick up with you quickly, Romano. Mutoh were there at the sort of dawn of the wide format print revolution. You were there very early. You've seen it progress and grow through the last sort of 30 years. From Mutoh's perspective today across Europe, where are you seeing the biggest growth areas? Where are the biggest growth markets that our audience should be looking at?
Yeah, at the moment we see the biggest growth markets in UV. Roll to roll, it's like it's a really mature segment. But now we're really looking at the UV market, and this has a really good growth. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. So. Premier, you have gone through an incredible transition over the last 10, 15, 20 years. You were once known for being, massive, straightforward paper shipping house. You've transitioned into the visual communications market.
We did.
As anyone can see from that massive banner up there, you are now very far away from just being all about paper. You have a huge portfolio. Why did you make the decision to transition into this market, and where do you see opportunity?
Okay. Well, I was quite fortunate that I was in the industry already. So Premier reached out to me and we started talking 2018, and at that point the display graphics as a division had been running for about 12 months. But we did it very, very quietly, quite under the radar, till we actually had a proper service promise to customers that we could be kind of proud of. So we didn't actually launch the business until 2019 at SD UK. So since then, Premier is a very forward-thinking business. It's primarily a paper company and always will be. However, the need to diversify and get into different specialty markets, such as display graphics, is why we're here. So yeah, that's kind of where we've come from and where we are now.
Yeah. Now, Phil, you've got very good, I think, in knowing you over the years, at being able to help customers, sign makers, printers, larger commercial printers take the leap of faith and actually make the first investment and diversification move into wide format print. So if we've got sign makers, printers, creatives in the audience, can people put up their hands? How many people have got a wide format printer here? No? Okay, well, we can speak to the converted then. Where do you see the next step now? Where's that next flight of opportunity, that next leap of faith? That if you've got incumbent technology, you've got a decent business, where do they go next? I mean, I know that you've come out with some incredible innovations with your, I think it's your V1000 press? Yeah. So yeah, where should people go from here?
Yeah, so I think one of the things we saw at the start of COVID was the development of customization and personalization. That was already a trend that was building quite slowly before COVID, but during COVID that absolutely accelerated massively. So we saw the adoption of dye sublimation technology in a big way, DTG, DTF. Printing onto garments, anything that was customized and personalized has value built into it for the end customer, the purchaser. So that's pretty much continued since COVID, since we've all got back out again, and that's really where we're encouraging our customer base to look for that opportunity, because we all know that, you know, costs are going up. You can't put your prices up beyond a certain level, so your margin's getting constantly squeezed. So the ability to add something different to what you're doing, make it look totally personalised to that individual, is where we see that big opportunity, and that's where a lot of the Epson R&D is going. We are focused on something we call at the moment called micro production, which might seem a little bit at odds to a wide format show, but this is about having very localized production with lots of different ink sets, giving you lots of different applications that you can offer at the point of sale to the customer, rather than having to deliver it, you know, even next day is sometimes too late for your customers. Customers wanting the opportunities to deliver it to the customer now, do the transaction now, move on to the next print job. So that's kind of the area that we're focusing. On the flip side, we're also focusing on going bigger as well. So improving productivity and reducing running costs for our customers, allowing them to create that extra profit gap again.
Yeah. Now I spy that we've got Craig in the audience. Has he got a microphone? So before I come on to my other two panelists, Craig, I want to ask you, you spent a lot of your career in this industry. You've been there, you've done it, you've tread the boards, you've been on the front lines. Often, us in trade association land, of course, I talk to hundreds of print businesses, sign makers, graphic companies, agencies, OEMs, but we are one step removed. We're not doing it as a job ourselves. What do you think, just a quick comment from you, what is it like out there in the market today? And how easy is it really for people to diversify, to move their business on?
How difficult is the market? Coming from the franchise background, I think I'm quite fortunate, because you've had 70 plus centres helping each other, feeding in, giving the benefit of their own experiences. One of the things I've always felt that maybe the trade as a whole, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, is Phil's been talking about personalisation of products, and that's the trend that he's seeing. I'm not sure that information necessarily filters down to the people who are either selling or operating the machinery. So I think it's kind of our responsibility as a trade association, as trade associations, to be that conduit, to share the information, to make that, you know, so we're not selling a product, but we're selling a concept, and then people want to then engage with Mutoh, with Epson, with HP, because they're the people they feel comfortable with. And again, as a board supplier, product supplier, paper supplier, it's a confidence thing. I know these two things work together, and this is the marketplace we're coming into. And from my own perspective, I came into the industry because I felt that I had a creative side. The business element was something that I learned as I went on. You guys are in an environment that's actually probably far more competitive than we're actually in, and I think there could be more help in putting that information across. Sorry if that's a bit long-winded, but that's my take on it.
That's perfect. So, Steve, if I bring that challenge to you,
Okay.
you especially have a lot of experience in helping traditional businesses, say in the commercial print space, transition into this space, into sign, display, graphics. What are the kind of key innovations that you have? I know sustainability is incredibly important to Premier. You're seeing a massive area of growth where around creating signage, graphics, where sustainability is the driver, is the value. So could you just tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, we're kind of fortunate that we've come, Premier being a paper business at heart, they've been involved in sustainability for a very, very long time. And we've piggybacked off the back of that. But you do see the market is making a move It was rumbling along for quite a long time towards sustainability, and now it's really starting to gain some traction. As an example, both on our wide format media selection of products and our rigid substrates, we've got sustainable products in both of those. Dry tack, not only is it manufactured in Bristol, so it's a UK product, so the carbon footprint is immediately very, very good. We've got a range called Dry Tack Zero, which is PVC free. On our substrate range, we have sustainable products in all of those. And I could bang on for a good half hour, 40 minutes just on those. So please come and visit me after on the stand and we can talk through them as well. But it's not just the product itself that has to be right. Does it do the job? Is it fit for purpose? Is it sustainable? Does it hit the price point? So it's having that variety and then making sure that as a business we communicate that message. So our marketing work incredibly hard, and we are always, you will see us, if you're looking at LinkedIn or on Facebook or in trade journals, you're going to see Premier display graphics there. And it's not us just showing off and getting our name everywhere, it's informing that our product base is changing all the time. It's always moving forward, and it's our duty to communicate that to our customer base and make sure that they're informed as well as we can.
Yeah. Now, Romano, just before I move to you, one of the biggest trends that we've certainly seen within our own membership is the most successful print service provider businesses are those that no longer see their banner, their piece of graphic, the signage, the commercial print as the product. The ink on paper, the ink on substrate on banner, that isn't your product. The most successful are seeing, what does that product do for my customer? How does that product make my customer's brand look better, look more innovative? How does it help my customer go to market more effectively? And when they see that element as their product, what does this thing do for my customer? They're then able to leverage that and make a much more engaged conversation with the customer, where it's not longer just about price. How many can you do for this price? This is what I can do for your business. And when they leverage that conversation, it really is powerful. One of the examples within our membership is Nettle Digiprint down in Bath. And funnily enough, which brings me on to you, Romano, they've just started off an incredible new line, both in sustainability, but also in direct-to-object printing. So they're cross-selling to their normal signage, their normal commercial print customers and saying, look, do you do trade shows? Do you have exhibitions? Do you have events? Well, we can produce all of your promotional merchandise for you. We can do lanyards, we can do personalized bottles or mugs or t-shirts, whatever you want. And they've diversified. Now, in direct-to-object printing, I know that that's a big area of investment for Mutoh. So could you tell me a little bit about your forays into that area?
Yes, of course. We have a big lineup with A2, A3, and A0 size. What we are doing is also we are looking at the inks, UV inks, to make it more better for the environment. And yes, what we see is we go from small to big. We need more production possibilities, and therefore we come with our flatbed 4062, which is 140 width and 70 depth, which increase productivity a lot, and that's what from our point of view was asked by the market, and yes, and as Mutoh we keep looking to all kind of things, because the printer has to be good, the inks has to be good, and it also is part of the application. And I think that's a really good vision that we have on the product, not looking only to the printer, the inks, or whatsoever, but also looking to the application and what's needed for it.
So you mentioned applications. Just a final quick point from you then. Where are you you seeing your customers take that direct-to-object technology? What products are they producing with it? How are they leveraging success out of that technology?
That's really versatile, because you can, like you just explained, you can do it on pens, on mugs, on all kind of flat, round materials, products, and that's also a little bit the creativity of the company, of the sign maker, or the sign and display company, what you can do with it. Because when you use UV print, there are so many objects you can print on, like this small table, but it also gives you a lot of creativity to see if does it work on stone, does it work on wood, what kind of wood, and you can make so many nice. We have in our demo center really nice, how do you say, examples or demos. What you can do with UV printing, and that's really good.
Fantastic. Now, you both mentioned sustainability, and I'd like to come to you, Phil. But just to sort of segue before I pass over to Phil, is one of the key areas, again, when we talked about value, and what value are you able to add to your customers' businesses? And I'll bring it back to our Nettle DigiPrint example again. They've added huge amounts of value to their customers' businesses, and they were a bit cheeky. They actually went and looked, and when we're talking about diversification, investing in new technology, you don't necessarily have to go out and build a whole new customer base out of the ether. You've got your existing customers that you can build into to grow, and that's what Nettle DigiPrint did. Did you know that we could help you with that? We can assist you with making your brand look more sustainable and actually make it more sustainable by utilizing sustainable substrates and printing methods. And Phil, I know with something like the R5000, I think that's important for you. How are you seeing your customers leverage that type of water-based technology in that area?
Yeah, we've seen that develop as everybody's become more and more environmentally conscious. You know, the big brands are now starting to question where their signage is coming from, where their display graphics are coming from, and they're wanting to see action in improving that sustainability. So something like the SureColor R5000, which is our recently launched resin printers, a water-based ink, as you said, Brendan, that allows you to print onto uncoated media, and therefore, when you finish with the graphic, with the application, can go straight into the recycling, because it's paper-based and there's just water in the ink, so really easy to recycle. But more importantly, we're working with the media manufacturers, I mean, people like Premier Paper, who have that sustainable option in their media, and just make it really easy using Epson technology to produce vibrant, very saleable prints that you can justify a decent price tag on and make some decent profit, and produce it in an environmentally sustainable way. So it's about giving that opportunity to the PSP to be able to improve their sustainability credentials. And just going back to Craig's point about education and getting that message out about sustainability, about customization, personalization, we're very much trying to leverage or enable rather the media manufacturers to produce environmentally sustainable media that can still get great print results. So it's about opening that door and providing that opportunity to go down that route.
Yeah, fantastic. I just want to check on time. Craig, Jack, we've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes? 5 minutes, okay. So just the last couple of things then. We've talked about understanding what your product is. Is it the ink on paper, or is it the value it delivers? We've talked about different things like object printing and moving into a very different area, how to build your customer base, sustainability. One of the biggest things that I again see our own membership, and just drawing from my own experience, the most successful members are the ones that are going and beating up their suppliers, beating up these gentlemen and saying, come on, how do I grow my business? What am I doing wrong? Because they're speaking to customers all day long. They know what their other customers are doing that are successful. And I think there's sometimes a bit of hesitancy or a lack of knowledge that you can beat up your supplier quite heavily to tell you, come on, how do I grow? What do I do next? So Steve, I'll put that challenge to you. I know you've got some insane products like your Op-Bugger, fiber-based boards, Diplast, Drytac.
Yep.
If you're looking to do something different, build a new revenue stream, what exciting new or interesting products have you got that our audience can look at to take that step to do something different?
Okay, if I was to pick, say, 4, if we started with Drytac, I've already alluded to, it's UK manufactured. Drytac has a complete zero, which is called Drytac Zero, which is a PVC-free wide format media on a roll. We've got Do-Flight, which is a fibre-based board. It's compostable. It's a structural sheet. It's manufactured in Cambridgeshire. So again, the carbon footprint is really good on that product. We've got exclusivity over that range, and that's on the stand. You can make furniture out of it. You can make exhibitions out of it. You can use it as a sign base. Fantastic product. We have Diplast, which is a fluted polyprop. It's manufactured in France. So even then, what we try and do, we try and look at the product as a whole. Where's it coming from? What's behind that product and what makes it interesting to us? So France, it's manufactured in Dunkirk, so carbon footprint again, it's literally across the channel. Last but not least, I would talk about a product called Viprint. Viprint for us is a polyprop. So again, it's a thin gauge material, but now we just released a new product which is reclaimed fishing nets. So you take the fishing nets, reclaim them, all the, like ghost lines, ghost nets out of the sea. They're cleaned, put into pellets, put back through an extruder, and we encapsulate them between 2 white sheets of virgin polypropylene, and you get a completely 100% opaque material which you can't see through. But the story behind that's really good, and the price points are really good there as well.
And I think the important thing here again is that I see your customers that are also my members taking that information and leveraging it. So if you are using substrates that are more sustainable or more environmentally friendly, you need to tell your customers that. Offer them those options. Tell them that they can make themselves look better by utilizing these substrates. If there's a pushback on price, because maybe it's a little bit more expensive, say, okay, maybe it is a little bit more expensive, but are you serious about your environmental credentials? It says on your sustainability policy that you are. Maybe you should back that up. So, quick last word to you, Romano. I'm really interested in obviously comparing the UK and Europe. You have a real good knowledge of other markets. If our audience and the viewers that watch this afterwards are looking at maybe 1 or 2 areas where there is growth, where there is traction and movement, what are those markets that you would recommend them to look at?
Yeah, obviously we talked about the DTO printing, personalization, small volume, like you used to have all the screen printing, which you need a lot of volume for it, and UV DTO really helps you to do small volume orders, production orders against good costs, where you can also make a good margin. So I think that's one thing. I wanted to say that's really a growth market.
Great. Yeah. Well, I think just the last thought that I'd like to leave you with is, again, drawing on our knowledge from our membership, is that where we're seeing diversification, technology investment, moving new areas work really well, is where you do a bite and hold strategy. You've got your base, you've got your products, you've got the areas that you understand very well. And you don't have to go full in immediately. You can get one small desktop machine, talk to your suppliers, get the materials, gauge customer engagement, gauge interaction, build that little module, and move out of your sort of inner sanctum. Take a bite out of that market, grow it, and hold it before you can then move on to another one. And that's certainly a strategy we've seen do well. So if I could just have a round of applause for my wonderful panelists. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. They are all here at the show, so thanks very much, everybody, and good day.